The film starts in Syria, where a woman meets a group of terrorists in the desert and kills them all with her small knife. Parker, a skilled commando and military investigator, along with her friend Spider, has just finished an anti-terrorist mission in Syria. Things get complicated when Parker gets a call from her ex-boyfriend Jesse, who is now the sheriff in her hometown. Jesse tells her that her father has died suddenly in a mine collapse. Parker goes back to her hometown of Creation for the funeral and to take over the bar her father left behind. When Parker gets to town, she goes to see Jesse. Jesse, the sheriff, thinks Harry might have died by suicide because of a note he left and his bad mood, but Parker disagrees. Jesse then takes Parker to the bar her father left her. Seeing her father's photos makes Parker sad because it's hard for her to accept his death. Late at night, Parker notices a stranger trying to enter the bar and attacks him, thinking he's suspicious. Later, she realizes it's Mike, her best friend, who came looking for his lizard and has been looking after it. They talk, and Mike reveals he found her father's body in the mine. They decide to go there. Harry had set up security cameras at the cave's entrance, which catches Parker's attention. Mike tells her that Harry had been spending a lot of time in the cave recently, almost like how someone stays in their own room. Memories of Parker and her father's past are evoked for her. Parker notices the unusual arrangement of the rocks and, after examining one of the stones, believes that the mine collapsed due to a grenade explosion. Despite Mike's claim that Harry might have forgotten to pull the grenade's pin, Parker considers this impossible and becomes more suspicious of her father's death, thinking it might have been a conspiracy. They go to the bar to drink beer, where Parker meets Elvis, Jess's younger brother and the family villain. Due to their rocky past, their conversation is not friendly. When she and Mike return to their vehicle, she sees some suspicious youths robbing a van and decides to chase them. She eventually witnesses the thieves planning to rob a tool store, so she asks Mike to wait and follows them. When she is sure they are planning to steal again, she quickly intervenes and severely punishes all three. She is shocked to see an old watch on the wrist of one of the robbers, later finding out that it belonged to one of her father's old friends, Frank, who returned it to its real owner after many years. The next morning, she notices a big explosion near the mine, so she climbs the mountain to find the cause. It turns out that Elvis and his gang are having fun shooting RPGs, and Parker wonders how they got hold of these advanced weapons. She asks her close friend Spider, a professional hacker who works for the CIA, to take control of the cave's CCTV cameras through a link that Parker sends him. It is revealed that Elvis had suspicious activities on the dark web, leading Parker to believe her father's death may be related to him. The next day, she finds out there is a base and warehouse of advanced military weapons near the mine and keeps a close eye on it. She meets Georgia, Mike's mom, to get some information. Mike reveals that Elvis once wanted to sell an AK to one of his friends, but doesn't know how he connected to get these weapons. Later, Spider informs Parker that Elvis has a deal at his house today, so she immediately enters Elvis's residence to find out what's happening. When one of the customers tries a machine gun, aimless shots are fired at Parker, but she luckily dodges them. Moments later, when she approaches them, she realizes that Ghost, one of the American domestic terrorists, is asking Elvis for some RPGs. It turns out that Elvis is an illegal arms dealer for the army. During a date with Jesse, he introduces her to his father Ezekiel, a senatorial candidate who believes Jesse should invite her home. One night, Parker and Jesse spend the night reminiscing and getting drunk. After concluding that her father's death was not an accident, they sleep together. However, in the middle of the night, she's still awake, rides her bike to the police station, uses Jess's card to sneak into his office, and retrieves her father's papers. She comes to her father's body with sadness and sobs nonstop. The next day, she says goodbye to his ashes during the funeral ceremony with her friends. By inviting Parker, Senator Swank seems to want to use her to appeal to Latino voters, and is doing his best to win her support. While still unconvinced, she receives a text message from Spider that Elvis has come to the cave, so she immediately leaves the party and heads to the mine. Upon arrival, she finds them retrieving weapons from her father's cave and punctures their truck tire with her small knife. Moments later, she confronts Elvis and subdues him before he can shoot her, trying to force him to confess. At that moment, one of his men sets her house on fire and Parker is forced to leave him. During a tough fight with the attacker, she falls from a height but fortunately saves herself and escapes without injury. Parker rushes towards Elvis, who is unsuccessfully trying to escape in the disabled car, and keeps punching him in the face. It doesn't take long for Jesse to arrive, arrest her for assaulting his brother, and take her to the station. It turns out that Ezekiel Swan and his sons are behind the whole deal of illegal gun smuggling, and now Parker has no doubt they are the killers of her father. Jesse plans to bribe Parker to keep her quiet, but she gets angry and reveals that she has evidence against them, such as the CCTV cameras in the mine. After talking to her lawyer Luis Torres, he goes to the mine to investigate and get the documents needed for her claims. Suddenly, Jesse appears from behind and seems to kill him. Now Ezekiel and his sons plan to torture Parker to force her to hand over the security tapes. Meanwhile, she tries to open her handcuffs with a small device. When Ezekiel pressures her to call her contact, Parker accepts the deal. During the call to Spider, as soon as he gets on the line, Parker yells that they are torturing her. Disarming Elvis, Parker forces them into a cell, then shoots Ezekiel in the shoulder but is stopped by an unaware agent. As she leaves, her fight with the police officer leads to Ezekiel's escape. When Parker starts chasing him on the road, she seems to have been injured during the fight and has a terrible accident. A nearby farmer goes to save her. Jesse takes advantage of Parker's absence and checks her latest chats with Spider, pretending to be Parker. He texts that she is fine and there is no need for him to come. Elvis tries his best to find Parker and visits Mikey at his mother's home, but they insist they haven't seen her. After checking all the rooms, they leave, sure she is not there. However, it turns out that Mikey and his mother are taking care of Parker in the hidden basement of the house. While burying lawyer Luis, Jesse and his brother worry that they will be delayed in delivering the weapons to Ghost and are terrified as he is a wanted domestic terrorist. Parker wakes up after 3 days of anesthesia, and Mike surprises her with his hidden talent in agriculture. Parker seems determined for an all-out fight with the Swan family and their henchmen, yet she evades Mike's question about her job. Georgia claims she has no weapons, but one of the good old inhabitants provides the necessary equipment to arm her. Additionally, her father's old friend Frank provides her with grenades and guns along with an old, wide and long knife. The Swans face a problem in delivering Ghost's RPGs, while Ezekiel has spent all the money received on election campaigns. Hence, Ghost and his men angrily take his sons hostage. Moments later, Parker breaks into their property, kills the lone guard, and throws his body into the pool. Then she meets Ezekiel, who initially claims her father Harry's death has nothing to do with them, but is forced to tell the truth by her threat. Parker returns to her vehicle. It turns out Harry knew about Swan's gun smuggling, and his killer was none other than Jesse, who shot Harry in the back. Probably when he was about to die, Harry pulled the grenade's pin, causing the mine explosion. Mike warns Parker about the danger of encountering Ghost and his gang, but she claims she knows the tunnels better than anyone else and there's no other way. The gangsters return to the cave, taking responsibility for moving the weapons themselves. Parker prepares for the second round of attack. Suddenly, Spider arrives unexpectedly and asks about Parker. Without knowing, the criminals act as if they don't know about her, but their real motive is to assassinate him. Meanwhile, Parker detonates a series of bombs to distract the robbers, allowing Spider to fight them and defend himself. But since they are outnumbered, they drag him into the cave to question him about Parker. By penetrating the tunnels, Parker finds Spider after discovering a large number of RPGs and frees him by attacking the criminals. She plans to blow up the stolen and illegal ammunition warehouse with an RPG. Suddenly, a mob shoots at them from behind, and Spider, without wasting time, explodes the ammunition with an RPG shot. A large part of the cave is destroyed and the rocks fall. Parker, still confused by the explosion, is injured in the arm. Ghost appears, and she manages to kill him in a grueling fight. After him, Elvis appears and shoots, but she defeats him with her unique fighting skills, eventually killing him too. A little later, Mike and Parker's other friends help her find Spider under the rocks. Luckily, he is alive. She keeps looking for Jesse, who has escaped into a hole leading to the army's weapons storage. Even though civilians aren't allowed, they go into the armory. Parker pretends to be a hurt civilian and asks the soldiers for help. She sees Jesse nearby and acts like she is in more pain to sit up. The soldier leaves to get help, and Parker uses this chance to find Jesse. She attacks and stabs him, asking how he could have done it, remembering that Harry cared more about him than his own father. They fight, and Jesse pulls out a grenade and pulls the pin. Parker tries to stop him, but it is too late. Jesse regrets what he did and kills himself, ignoring her advice. Over time, Parker's family bar is rebuilt, and she decides to go back to her military career. At a gas station, Spider tells her he found a video of her father's murder, but she says she doesn't want to see it. Spider also shows her a film her father made when they were younger, showing Parker and her father enjoying various activities. Mike calls her on video, and they talk about how he is now managing the family bar. Parker promises to come to Creation for the opening party. The movie ends with them driving down the road. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.